lost all control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes me with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, another fine evening here on the Paranormal Portal. And with me as your hosts, Brent Thomas. I hope you're all absolutely wonderful out there. It's Tuesday night, huh? Wow, hold on. Had to clear the pipes to get going. Once again, I spent part of the night, just a little bit ago, guest hosting on Bigfoot Odyssey and had the really cool opportunity to talk with Ron Moorhead. If you're not familiar with Ron Moorhead, and you must be living under a rock somewhere, because he is about one of the key people that have really moved along the discussion about the intelligence of Bigfoot and capabilities of Bigfoot, and just an incredible guy, really nice guy, very well spoken and very intelligent. You can tell he's quite an introspective person, and it was a great pleasure. I covered until Carrie was able to make it, and then of course I had to leave. I had a bunch of projects that I'm really working on hard, trying to wrap some things up. Some of them have to do with the portal, and some of them don't at all. It's just the rest of the world kind of stuff. But I got some stuff done today, so that was good. But it was a great opportunity, and I am going to reach out to Ron to get him on the show. It was just such a neat discussion, and I had about a gajillion questions that I would have loved to ask him if I had the time. But unfortunately, it was just a fill-in kind of thing, and it was a lot of fun doing it. And thank you to Daniela and Carrie over on Bigfoot Odyssey for letting me be a part of the show. That's always an honor, and I always have a lot of fun doing it. Great people over there, great listeners. They got an amazing chat room as well. Almost as good as ours, but, I'm a little partial, so what can you say? But the truth be known, a lot of the people from there are here as well, so it's no wonder you guys are awesome. And hello to all you guys in the chat. Thank you for coming in and piling into the doors. I'm absolutely excited to bring you another edition of the Night Terrors here on the Paranormal Portal. So before we go much further, again, I just want to throw this out there. These are available on Amazon, the Paranormal Portal, Paranormal Investigation Journal. And if you're not familiar with this is our newest entry into the paranormal research field. And it's a journaling book to journal investigations. If you're working on investigations, we got all kinds of space and checklists and things that may help you organize the information from the investigations. So we hope you'll check it out. The link is in the description, but it's available on Amazon. So head on over there if you're interested, or if you got a paranormal researcher on your list and wondering, what do I get that person? Well, it might be something. It's something I'm absolutely excited about, and I hope you guys are as well. But that's available on Amazon. And don't forget about our Teespring store, ladies and gentlemen. Shirts, hats. Well, not hats yet, but they're coming. Other gear, mugs, stickers. There's a lot of Paranormal Portal gear over there. All of this stuff goes a long way to help support the show. And we have a lot of things we want to do in 2020. And unfortunately, there are barriers to those things. And unfortunately, also, those barriers are monetary. And so we're trying to raise funds. We're trying to increase what we can do on the show. I want to do a lot more field investigating, both for Bigfoot and for potentially UFOs as well, with some night vision, as well as some more ghost investigating. So unfortunately, there's price tags along with every one of those. And, it's on the bucket list for the show. It's what I'd like to see happen. But unfortunately, it's not something that I can go further into debt to accommodate. So as the show makes money, I will be happy to reinvest into that to make those things happen and to hopefully increase and improve not only the way every show is, but the ability of us to add more variety to the shows that we do offer. So we'll keep getting out there as much as we can with what we have available, of course. But it's just another, expands the abilities when we have better equipment and stuff. And streaming with a cell phone is, it's okay, but it's not ideal for recording investigations and stuff. So just some things we got going on, and hope you will help participate. Otherwise, you can just donate. PayPal.me, Paranormal Portal. Is an option, as well as super chats here during the show, and anything is appreciated. Whatever you can do goes a long way. And I don't like to to ask, because I feel like I don't ever want the show to be about that, but unfortunately, it's just kind of the nature of the beast that there's so much that we want to do, but there are barriers that we have to make it through. So, but anyway, guys, I hope you are ready for some entertainment. And I hope that that you find that entertainment right here. And if you don't, then my apologies. I've given you all I've got. But anyway, let's get ready, because it's time for bed. And absolutely, Julia, prayers for your friend Jessica. I hope and pray that she is okay. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I just hope everything's all right, or can be all right. But we are, we are all praying. So please, if you have a faith, please take a moment and pray for Jessica through Black Tree Julia. She's been with us for a long time. Wonderful friend personally, as well as on the show. So. I just hope everything's okay, and I'm so sorry that your friend is going through such a tough time now, and you are as well. So our hearts go out to you, of course. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get going with the show. I suppose you didn't come here to listen to me flap my gums. I just wanted to also take a moment and I want to plug an artist. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really picky when it comes to music. I like all music, I really do, but it's hard for me, and a lot of times, to get into some people's music, and sometimes I only get into a little bit of their music. But I had an artist out of Australia reach out to me, and he wants to collaborate on some music stuff, which is an incredible honor, because I don't really consider myself a musician. I'm just a person that likes to do lots of different creative stuff, whatever that may be, and that, of course, changes by the day. But I was really honored by that. And I said, of course, and I asked him, to let me have the ability to hear what his stuff is. And so he sent me a link to his page, and I also checked, and he is on Spotify. So if you have Spotify, I really want you guys to go check out his stuff. And his name is Peter Turk. Peter and then Turk. And I know everybody's got different tastes, but he's got such a melodic, retro, cool vibe to his music. It's incredibly soothing and warm, but it's got a great energy, and I'm really excited about it. I mean, I really believe he's going to blow up. His music is going to blow up if he can get people to listen to it. And so that's what I'm trying to do right now, is ask you to go to Spotify, or you can do a search for him, Peter Turk, and find his music, because I know that a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh my God, it's very retro. It's almost got a real 60s vibe to it, but it's also modern, and it's just really neat. I just really love the guy's work, and I am a fan now. I had no idea that he was out there, but he is out there, and he's been in the show in our chat room, apparently, or at least listening. So I'm real honored that he wants to work with me, and I'm excited to do that. But definitely check it out if you get a chance. Again, Peter Turk, Peter Turk. Just great music. And I don't have his permission to play anything for you right now. Otherwise, I would, because I think it's brilliant. I think his music is just brilliant. So anyway, that's not necessarily what the show's about either, but I just think it's great to help each other out. Help, whatever reach that I have, I'm happy to help lift up other people if they're working on something. And, check out our friend Lee McNew, his channel. He's a great guy and a really nice guy. I had the pleasure of interviewing him on Bigfoot Odyssey as well. And he's been here. I haven't seen him lately, I don't think, but it's just a wonderful guy, and he's really thoughtful and does a great job. And, of course, check out our good friend Duke, World Bigfoot Radio. He's always doing episodes and stuff. I don't know. Of course, the Believe podcast, Cade's Believe podcast. Don't miss that. And don't miss the Paranormal Portal podcast either. So that's it for me plugging stuff. Sorry. This show's starting out more like a commercial, I guess, but it's okay. I just think it's great stuff to refer you guys to. And, if I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't be telling you to go check it out. Believe me, because I'm all for helping, but I'm not going to lie for anybody. So anyway, let's get going. This first story is coming out of California tonight. And so, let's see, how do I begin? This happened many years ago and is still as fresh in my mind as the night that it actually happened. It was 1965. I belonged to a large family of 4 kids, and as such, we actually required a really big home. My parents searched and found a great deal on a house in the El Sobrante, California area. Sorry if I'm butchering the hell out of that. It was a bit run down, but spacious enough for all of us kids. I've always had quite a bit of a psychic ability, and it's not unusual for me to know who's at the door or when the phone is going to ring. And as a small child, I often saw people that I thought were real, only to be teased by my older sister because the person was unseen by her. Back to my account of this house. My phone. I gotta mute it. Sorry about that. Yeah, everything's fine. Huh. I just got a text from our good friend Nace. He should be out there somewhere, but I don't know if he's listening or not. But yeah, I'm good, brother. He always had psychic ability. Back to my account of this house. We went with our parents to see this wonderful house that was going to be all ours. Wow, no more apartments. The house was and still is 4 bedrooms, 2 upstairs, 2 downstairs, a living room, large country kitchen, 2-car garage, and a huge weeping willow in the ample backyard. And I love weeping willows. Those are such cool trees. I think they're messy, but they are beautiful. I think they're just gorgeous. The front yard was very small and surrounded by a 5-foot-tall hedge, but nevertheless, we were all excited. We went into the house, and immediately I could barely breathe. I could tell that we were being watched, and I was especially leery of the smallest bedroom downstairs. It just felt ominous. I knew that this house was bad. I was really, really uncomfortable. Well, my parents signed the final papers and received the keys from the realtor, and we busied ourselves in the yard, and we met up with a couple of the local kids that couldn't wait to tell us that a murder and suicide had occurred in the house the prior year. Oh, that's horrible. That's a horrible imprint. The house had been vacant since then. It seems that the former owners had many marital problems because he was quite the drinker, and he got drunk one day and shot his wife, and then he sat at the dining room table. The postman heard the shot and knocked on the door, and I guess he must have figured that it was a car backfiring, and it was 1965 after all, so backfiring was not unusual. The postman left, and the man proceeded to shoot his own head off right in the opening between the kitchen and the living room. All 4 of us kids were enraptured by the tale, but I have to admit, it scared the daylights out of me. When we moved in, my mom removed the current living room drapes to put up her own, and it was then that she noticed that the drapes hung much further along the wall than the window. Well, she surmised that it was to cover up an ugly stain on the wall next to the front door. She set about painting the room to cover up the mark, and it looked just like a handprint, and it was the color of chocolate milk, so Mom told us someone had rubbed milk on the wall, and I can't believe we were gullible, but We believed her. She painted and painted and painted that spot, but it still bled through. She ended up having her new drapes made long enough to cover that mark, just like the old drapes had done. And all this was going on. We, of course, tried to settle into our new house, and we heard footsteps from time to time on the floors while all of us were watching television. And they were hardwood floors with area rugs, so the footsteps were distinctive. Of course, Mom and Dad put them off as the house settling. I guess 10-year-old houses still need to settle. Well, they can. It became more and more frightened of the house, and I was uncomfortable when I was in there alone during the day, and I was downright terrified at night. We found all sorts of hidden full wine bottles in the attic and in the garage and other unusual items. Many times I sensed that all of us were being watched through the windows from the backyard. And I was originally assigned to the large downstairs bedroom with my younger sister, and many times the closet opened up by itself during the night, and I always felt that I was being watched. My older sister was given the small bedroom downstairs, and she became a perpetual furniture mover in an effort to make herself feel safe in her room. But no matter where she put her bed, she felt uncomfortable. She became such an insomniac that Mom moved her into the room with my sister and put me in the scary room. Ugh. It didn't last long as I woke up my parents many nights screaming my head off that there was someone staring at me from the window. I know that someone was looking in, but my dad went outside. There was never anyone there. Finally, Mom and Dad moved my older sister back into that room and me back with my little sister, and I will never, ever forget that night. I was soundly asleep and was awakened by the feeling of someone in the room. I looked towards the door, and there was an older woman standing there in a long white flannel-type nightgown, and she was staring at me. Well, I threw the covers over my head after a minute or so. I peeled the blankets back, and she was now standing right next to me. Oh, no. I was terrified. I looked at her, and she looked at me, and then she turned around and walked or floated slowly out of the bedroom. I still have no idea what possessed me to follow her, but I did, and I was a skinny 11-year-old girl. I should have still been shaking in my bed, but I followed her through the living room and up the stairs to my brother's room. I saw her go in there, but when I got to his room, there was no one but my sleeping brother in there. Mom was awakened by the footfalls on the stairs and asked me what I was doing. And I was so terrified I mumbled something incoherent, and Mom just sent me back to bed. I laid there shaking all night long, and I saw the woman a couple of other times, and still, 42 years later, dream occasionally of that house. We had other odd occurrences, and that only lasted 1 year, and only lasted 1 year in the house before Mom and Dad sold it for less than they paid, just so we could leave. I've sent a letter to the address telling them my story, but never got any type of reply. No doubt they chalked up my letter as some kind of nut, but I'm not a nut, and I have a professional job in government. I just would like to finally put this ghost to rest. Has anyone out there had any similar experience in an older house in El Sobrante? Huh. That's creepy. That is so harsh. I don't know. I wonder why there was someone outside. Why was someone outside? Why was there an apparition outside looking in the windows? If the man had taken his life in the house, I would suspect he would still be in that house. But maybe not. I don't know. But what a horrible, horrible thing. I just can't imagine how broken a person can be. And of course, being an alcoholic doesn't help any, right? So, like, some people are just not good drunks, and I realize that's kind of stupid, but I'm very serious. But we got a phone call here, so let's see who's calling us, see what's going on. And this is area code 845. You're on the air.
Hello, Brent. How are you tonight? This is Carlton from the Pharmacy Seas Network.
Oh, hey, how you doing, Carlton? Thanks for calling in. I'm doing good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Surviving that cold winter north here.
You're up in New York?
Yeah. About 90 miles north of New York City.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you must be a little frigid. You all set for the holidays?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
Just kind of lay low and keep the fires going.
oh, good for you. Good for you. So, what's on your mind tonight, brother?
Oh, not too much. I got all sorts of stories, but I was thinking about telling that out-of-body experience story that I had since we were talking about that a little last night, and I know there was some interest from the chat room about it.
Oh,
So I
please.
thought I would tell the story if you wanted to hear it.
Yeah, the floor is yours, man. Take it away.
All right, very good. Well, let's see. I was like 14 or 15, and my parents lived across from a very small airport, so I would go over and ride up and down the runway on my bike at night. And I had a little secret weed stash, and I'd hit the weed stash and catch a buzz. And
Okay.
it was in the days when CD players were still popular, and I had a little portable CD player, so I'd listen to Pink Floyd while I rode up and down the runway.
Oh,
Every
excellent.
once in a while, I'd take a little break and stop on the end of the runway and sit in there's like some fir trees near the end of the runway you could sit in. It was a real peaceful spot to sit. So
Uh-huh.
I'd sit there and smoke a bowl and catch a buzz, and then I'd go back and ride some more.
Nice.
Well, one night I'm sitting there smoking and listening to, I think it was Arnold Lane actually from Pink Floyd.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And
Classic.
all of a sudden I got this really weird like vibrating feeling in my chest, and
Mm-hmm.
I kind of didn't know what was going on. And I had my head down and my eyes closed for a few minutes listening to the music. I was kind of like really absorbed in it. And all of a sudden, I'm looking down at my body from above, and I'm like looking at the back of my head, and I'm like going, what is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And after a couple of seconds, or at least what I perceived to be a couple of seconds, I started to realize I was actually out of my body looking down at myself. And I totally freaked out. And as soon as I did, I snapped back in. And and I got up and went back to riding my bike because it scared the shit out of me. But it was an interesting experience. And now, as I'm looking into astral projection more, I'm finding that a lot of other people have had that experience, and then later on in life they learn how to do astral projection. I haven't evolved that far yet, I guess, though.
Oh, I hear you, man. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. And it's funny because I was just watching Josh Toll, something like that. He's got a whole channel on astral projection and astral travel and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he was talking about the chest vibration thing, and I had forgotten that detail until I saw him talking about it. And I was like, oh, that's right. I totally remember how like weird that vibration was right before that experience.
Oh,
So,
yeah, that is
I don't know,
odd.
just
That is really strange.
a wild experience.
So it was really quick though, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was maybe 10 seconds all total. I would love to have stayed out more had I not just freaked out. But when you're sitting there and all of a sudden you're looking at yourself from outside your body, it's like you're not expecting it. You're like, what the frick,
Yeah, that must have been a little terrifying, huh?
It was, and later on, as I thought about it more, I was like, wow, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean? And then as time went on, I started to think, well, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I was just hallucinating. But then
Yeah.
as I do more research, I find that, lots of other people have had this experience, and lots of other people have exploited this experience to do all sorts of interesting astral travel. So I don't know. I
You
still
know,
don't know exactly what it means, but it intrigues me that, I'm not the only person that had it. Maybe I'm not crazy.
now have you ever experimented with it since then? Like since you had this experience, have you tried to meditate or do it or program your sleep to project or have you tried to do it intentionally?
I have. I've tried several different methods, several
Mhm.
different times. I haven't had any success yet. But in the last couple of weeks, actually, I've been researching into that topic a little deeper. Lately I've been having trouble like clearing my mind to get into that mind state where you're not just monkey mind all over the place. So
Right.
I haven't been able to yet, but I'm hoping to at some point. And if I do, I'll certainly give you a call back and tell you about my experiences,
Yeah.
provided I come home.
No, that'd be cool. I think it's incredibly interesting and a fantastic possibility. And I think it's something that we all can do, or maybe should be able to do. I will, but we just are. I mean, we probably just have to work to it. It's like to effectively meditate, you can't just close your eyes and just I'm meditating now. You have to work towards it. So I imagine
Right.
that projecting would be very similar to that. I don't recall ever projecting that I know of. I mean, I've had some incredibly lucid dreams, but I think in all of them, to me, it was really apparent that it was a dream, but I could just command it. I've heard people
Yeah,
speculate.
yeah, yeah.
I've heard speculation that when we dream, we are projecting, but I don't know if there's any truth to that or not.
It's interesting because I was listening to an interview from that guy. What I'll do after we get off the phone is I'll dig up a link from him and I'll put a link in the chat so people can check it out if they want.
Oh, excellent.
But yeah, it's he was talking about that same kind of thing. And the one guy he was interviewing, an Australian guy, was saying something about other people being able to affect people's dreams through astral travel too. So really interesting topic, and just it's more intriguing to me than anything.
Right.
But I think you're right. I think you have to be able to get into the right mind state. You have to understand how to make that jump. There's a bunch of pieces like any other skill you learn. You have to know the basics before you can start playing with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, brother. I think you're you're right on it for that. But yeah, anytime you want to share anything, brother, just feel free to call in. It's great to hear from you.
Awesome, awesome. Great to hear from you, too. And I got lots more stories, so I'll call in from time to time and drop a truth bomb on you.
Yeah, I'd love to hear all of them, man. So whenever you want to, just I'll be waiting for you.
Sounds good. Thanks for the great show, Brent. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, brother, for being here and being a part of it. Take care.
Not a problem. Have a good night.
Very cool. And we got another call, and I think this is from Sage. Hello, 530. You're on the air.
You're like ruining my entrance. I can't like drop anything. It's like you're giving me hey, you're gonna go live soon, so don't drop a bomb, lady.
Yeah, no more cussing
How are
on the
you?
show. I'm good. How you been?
I'm good. Hey, your caller, who was that?
That was Pharmacy Seeds Network from the chat.
Oh, that was Seed.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to hug him. He was so right on. So I started doing astro projection, but I had no idea what it was. I just thought I was going crazy, and I didn't tell anyone.
Oh.
And then after my brain surgery, it started happening more and more, and I realized that it was when I wasn't thinking, which the pot probably helped him because, when we're high, our right brain and our left brain doesn't necessarily it calms itself down.
Sure.
So a lot of us, it works in harmony, or it stops, it stops chattering or whatever you want to necessarily say.
Right.
It stops going against itself. And if you want to interrupt me, just tell me to shut up. Okay.
Never,
yeah. Okay.
Never.
When I smoke quite a lot for my pain, and I just, and I'm a pothead because I love the 90s, but I've learned that it's not when it doesn't matter if I'm high or if I'm not high. It matters when I'm not necessarily thinking. I could be walking, I could be laying in my bed. I could, there was one time when I was walking between my, to come outside my door, my husband was in bed, and I ended up going in two different places. I was literally standing right in front of him, and then I was also in our car going down the highway, and we were having a conversation, and I was standing right in front of him. Like I was in two different places at once. And when I came back, I woke him up. I told him all about it. It felt real, both of them. it was the trippiest, most weird. I mean, every time it happens, it seems like I go even deeper into it. And the only thing that I can say is when I go back and replay it in my head, I'm not thinking of anything. I'm doing something so mundane. I feel safe. I feel in control of my body. And I know that I'm, like, if I fall, like, there's nothing around me that's going to hurt me. It's a really kind of weird thing, like it's happened to me in the kitchen after pouring a cup of coffee.
Sure. That's cool.
Just random things that I do kind of on autopilot.
That's cool.
And I think, I think maybe that's something that that seed might have been, hitting at, is that it was something that he kind of always did. So his mind was at peace.
Yeah. I think.
And
I
then,
think so.
We kind of go into the, oh, shoot, we're not supposed to do that. And that's what pulls us back in.
Sure. Yeah, I suppose there is an awkwardness to it. Like, whoa, 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 wait, hey. Because, we're just not used to that transition.
Right, but I feel that when I meditate, it's easier for me to slip in and release my body. I had a harder time finding the meditation that works for me, so I recommend him, not giving up, but definitely trying to find, or even going into like hypnosis meditations, and finding which one triggers him, if he wants to experience that. But you can go further if you want to. And astral projection or whatever it is, I just feel like it's part of, us moving forward. But I wanted to know, like, have you experienced anything like that? And what do you think?
I don't recall ever having any projection, but I do know that I have, because I really think that those dreams where I met my dad and other deceased relatives were not just dreams. I think that they were projections to a space where we could meet. And I don't remember the process of getting there, but as real and lucid and incredibly vibrant and profound as it was, I knew that it was more than a dream. So I think that those were maybe projections and meeting with the spirits of my loved ones. But I don't know what it's like to get there. So I don't know the process that happened to get me there. So I think I have, but I don't know for sure.
Sometimes I've also learned that things have happened and they don't necessarily stand out to us until later on. And then we're like, oh my God, that did happen. Why didn't, that stand out to us? And it's a really kind of weird thing. And it's it goes from UFO experiences to ghost experiences to all kinds of things where we'll tell a story. Yeah. And we don't necessarily think much of it, but other people are like, oh my God, what? And you're like, yeah, so, but, and it's almost like it's like it's like that experience has like downplayed its emotions on us. But when you say it out loud, the people's reactions, you kind of realize how unnatural it is.
Yeah, I think we don't.
Does that make any sense?
It does. I just don't think we understand all of these dynamics. And it's funny because this is kind of a discussion that I had with Ron Moorhead, is that, how much are we actually capable of, but we just don't understand these mechanics yet, or we haven't worked to that point yet. But, I think it's probably just as natural as any other state. As natural as probably going to sleep for us. It's just that we're not quite, for the most part, we're not collectively at that spiritual level yet, but I think we're getting there.
Oh, yeah, no, I feel like there's no way of stopping us. I feel like they're trying to stop us, but I mean, especially in this family, like we're so in tuned and awakened, like every call I can connect with and that's not a normal thing.
Yeah.
So and I love you guys all so much that I wish we were all sitting down, like face to face,
Right.
because we all have this common denominator, and you've done that, Brent. You've done that. You've made us a home,
Oh,
and I just feel like, like we all want to thank you and tell you how much we love you because you brought us together, and we appreciate you so much. But the astral projection is trippy, and it really does make you kind of wonder if it happened. And see, yes, it absolutely does happen. I'm with you, dude. If you want to talk to me, you can. Anyone, I'm here. But yeah, meditation is really good. Grounding, crystals, oils, and not to freak out and not think anything negative. That is the things I highly recommend.
yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's great, great advice. I think it's wonderful, and thank you. I mean, I appreciate those accolades and such. I just, all I did was turn on the lights, and it's like we all found each other. So, I wish I could take direct
I
credit
know,
for it,
but
but you know what I mean. It's
I
that rent is,
I do know what you mean,
yeah.
and I think that you don't really like to have that much attention on you. So that's kind of why I glance over it really fast and then I move on. But I do feel like you do need that acknowledgement, especially since the holidays are coming up. I really just want to I want to shower all of you guys with a bunch of love because I am so happy that I'm headed into 2020 not alone, and I have you guys, and I'm so thankful for you guys. So thank you. But yes, it's all, I mean, I've experienced, so, I don't know any of you guys until now, and that can't be a coincidence, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. I think we've probably always been
And I
connected.
agree with you. I don't remember meeting my deceased. I was just there.
Yeah. Yeah. Just happened.
So I don't know what that's called.
I don't know either. It's very strange, but whatever it is, I loved it, and it was incredibly powerful experiences. So they definitely
Right.
helped me along the healing process very quickly.
Yeah, and I think that it's a beautiful thing that you're given, and I think that it's a beautiful thing that we're all given. So thank you. I'll get off the phone just in case somebody else is online, and I love you guys all.
All right, we love you too, Sage.
And
Thank you
hey,
so much.
your mods, by the way, are really kicking ass. They are really being awesome.
Yeah,
they're really awesome.
They are all amazing. All the people in this channel are amazing. I've been very fortunate, but thank you so much, Sage. It's great to hear from you.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, see you now. Okay, and we got another call. It's just a good night for calls. I love this. All right, and this is area code 586. You're on the air.
Well, hello, Brent. This is Gemini Moon.
Hey, Gemini. How are you, dear?
I am doing very well. I just thought I'd call in and add to this wonderful conversation with this astral travel, or whatever you might want to call it.
Sure.
I've had many experiences since a child.
Very cool.
And I would say in the past couple of years, they've even got more exciting because I started to astral travel, or I call it soul travel, with friends and shared experiences where we both remember where we've gone the night before and what we've done.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's been really, really cool. I've had quite a few of those experiences with different people. And we've all talked about it. And I think it's where you place your consciousness before you go to bed. And me and one of my friends were talking about meeting at the beach. And that night we did. We met at the beach.
Oh, wow.
And we couldn't believe we were there. We were jumping for joy.
Yeah.
We were so excited.
That's so powerful.
And it was very powerful. But then we sat on the beach and we're like, oh my God, how do we get back? So, right, it wasn't such a conscious thing. I think it was more of an intention thing. And it's been quite the experience. Like you guys have said, there's been a lot of healing in it. I've met a lot of my friends who have passed over, and we've had a great conversation. And I feel like to me, it seems like such a free place to be. That to me is more like reality than actually being on this earth. I look forward to my astral travels because to me, it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, it really is. I'd love to learn more about it, and I really probably should, but I think it's, I just think, I don't, I think you have to work towards it, and that's probably my biggest failing in life is doing a diligent practice daily to develop it, and I don't know, that's I guess something I need to work on in 2020.
Well, I think it's just an alignment with where, we're all going. And it's more of the intention. And sometimes I think it's supposed to be uncovered and you use it. At times, it comes and goes.
Yeah.
And I found that for myself, it's a cycle. It kind of comes and goes. And when I put my intention there, hey, I want to go to Switzerland, or I want to go here, or I want to go there.
Wow.
I travel, and I get to see the world that way, if not such physically.
Now, let me ask you, since you have a pretty developed understanding of this, have you heard of the horror stories? Be careful when you're astral projecting, because that cord between you and your body can get cut, and then you're screwed. And have you ever heard that kind of stuff?
I have.
Okay.
But I think because I've been experiencing it as a child, from a child, that I never had any problems.
Oh, okay.
I've really never experienced anything scary whatsoever.
Okay.
To me, they've always been kind of exciting and fun, loving adventures.
Oh, cool. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I think I may be fortunate I built it in that way, but it also may be my attention. When I do this and when I go to sleep at night, I set my intentions very clearly.
Right. Program it. Very good. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. I think it's a frequency that you kind of tune into.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I suppose maybe it's what you bring with you on the journey too. Maybe these people having negative experiences brought something with them into that astral experience.
It could be. It could be. Yeah. Yes. So you know what I was thinking? I think Cha-Cha's sleeping.
Oh, do you? Oh.
Yeah, I don't really see her active there in the chat, so I just kind of wanted to bring that up. I wanted to give her a shout out too.
Oh, she does say it right in the chat. She's talking to Cam. She says she's stretchy, and then she says, "No, I'm here."
Yeah, she is there. I see her now. Yeah, so I thought I'd just add my 2 cents into this conversation.
I really appreciate that, and I think this is a topic we haven't touched on much in the show. It did come up on Monday's podcast where we had Dawn from Northern California communicate her experiences out of body, and they were really more NDE than they were OBE. So it was more like she had near-death experiences, but she was having some incredible things happening over and over. But it was like really like a near-death experience without the loss of the vitals and stuff. It was just incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard that, definitely check it out.
I will. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for your time.
Oh, anytime.
And I appreciate all that you do.
Oh, I appreciate that as well. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to hear from you, and I hope you're doing wonderfully as well.
I am. Thank you. Happy holidays to everybody.
Yeah, happy holidays. Take care.
You too. Thanks.
It was Gemini called in, and we got one more call, and this is from our very own Diane Swiger. Hi, Diane. Are you there?
Hi. Yes, I certainly am.
Hi. How's things?
I hadn't called in for a while, so I thought I'd touch base on this one.
Sure.
And basically, it's a subject I really like. but I do things a little different. People were trying to call what I do astral projection. I'm not sure it's quite the same because bilocation, usually astral projection, you're not really doing anything with your body. Your body is kind of staying still and you're out exploring, right? So, but bilocation is more, I can be talking on the phone to you and over at your place. Looking around.
Right.
So, it's kind of funny. There's like that's what we used to do when Sean and Joel and I used to do stuff. Is we could all see the same stuff pretty much. I mean, although it looked different, sometimes things look different to us, and I think really that's something that we don't understand too. Is that your ability to view stuff may vary. So while some people may see things one way, somebody else may see it another. However, there were times when we all saw exactly the same thing. So
yeah, that is different.
Much to our amazement.
Now, that what you're talking
we all
about,
saw something that looked like a D&D kobold at Diana Orcutt's place.
Oh, really?
So it's like those things really exist.
Wow.
But I don't think I believe the bit anymore about the cord getting cut.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents of that.
It seems really unlikely to me too. It's just, but I've heard that, and that's a curiosity to me. It's like, why do people say that? I mean, who's had that cut or who's had that happen and told somebody about it? It's like, oh, I was projecting all the time until I got my cord cut. Now I don't do it anymore. It's like, what's going on?
Or it sounded that usually they make it sound like if your cord gets cut, you die, you float away, and you can't get back into your body.
Yes.
Now I've also read though that what that cord is has to do with your karma, so that thing is not going to get cut until you die. You're not losing that. So that's another thing I've heard too, and I'm not sure whether I buy that either.
Sure.
I don't know.
Well, like everything else,
however,
in the paranormal, that's like there's so many ideas and philosophies and concepts, and it's really kind of an unfinished stew in most cases that people just throw in these contributions recklessly without any kind of real substantiation. So you gotta, I suppose, take a lot of it with a grain of salt, really.
Yeah, I think probably not enough people at one time were, if they were experiencing it, they were not really talking about it much, maybe, for a while. But now that more people are willing to come forward and talk about their experiences in some places, like here, which you've made I agree, you've made a nice little cocoon for us to talk about our stuff that has happened to us without feeling scared to do that, So we're probably going to find out a lot of things, and we're probably going to find out we have a lot more similar experiences than dissimilar. We've probably all been through a certain amount of stuff, whether we realize it or not. Or, some things you even have to kind of remember that, oh, yeah, I did do that.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, when I was 5 or something,
Yeah, good points. Yeah.
I'm thinking probably, as I recall, when I was a kid, it seemed like a lot of things were easier. And I remember one time when I was very sick leaving my body, it was sort of like an acid trip.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was, the colors. And then coming back in, there was a different set of colors. It was really weird, but it wasn't like that another time. Like I've had other times when the time I died, it was just like being there, except I didn't hurt and I wasn't afraid of anything. And that's one thing I can say about that realm is you don't feel, as far as I can tell, you don't feel fear and you don't hurt anywhere. And it's actually, for some people, nicer than when they get back here, because if you had that happen because of an accident or something, you're usually hurting when you get back.
Right.
So
yeah. Very true.
Yeah, it's actually nicer than. I'm not trying to encourage anybody to, leave before their time or anything.
Right.
Because that isn't going to work either.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that, we, or at least my belief is, if we take our lives, then we have failed to complete our task here, and we'll probably be wanting to come back and finish whatever it was we were going to do. So you'll never find me leaving before my time because I want to make sure I get whatever it is done.
Yeah, get it right. Yeah.
So
move on.
Get it right and get it done. Yeah. Move on to the next kind of adventure.
Mm-hmm.
But just telling you, there was a couple. Oh yes, I wanted to mention there was a couple that actually had lessons on bilocation, and it wasn't really a lesson. It was more like a download or you just absorbed it by just watching the video, and I can't find them again.
Oh. Huh.
But I asked to be able to do that. I mean, when you intend, and I said, okay, well, actually, I think I had always said, be nice if I could bilocate. I could get so much more done, right?
Sure.
So then up comes a video where they're saying, okay, we've got something that can help you bilocate. You just watch it and do what we tell you. Look at the places we tell you to look on the screen when we tell you to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm there very skeptical. And at first I didn't think it had done anything. I'm there like, oh, well, that was interesting, but I don't feel any different. And then I realized that I had a clearing that I was doing, and the person screamed and said, what are you doing here? And I'm talking to you on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
I'm
bizarre.
like, oh, gosh, I guess I'm bilocating.
Huh.
I didn't
So you
even
weren't
know
actually
that anything had happened.
You weren't actually aware of it in real time. In other words, right? It was like you just projected an intention more than an actual conscious part of yourself, huh? Like a
it was
tulpa?
a conscious part. Well, what it looked like to me is I had a job to do, and this is how it usually happens with me. I mean, when I found out I was a medium, it was because I had a job to do. I guess that, I was just busy doing my job. I wasn't thinking about how I was doing my job, how it was happening. Mm-hmm. And she was just telling me, about her situation there. It was a poltergeist situation.
Mm-hmm.
So while I was listening, I said, okay, sure, I'll help you. And I started, while I was talking to her, I started to see scenery. And first I just saw a horizon. And then I saw land, just land, nothing on it. And then I started to see shapes, and they turned into people. Mm-hmm. And then I started to realize somehow I knew that these people were not living people. They were spirits. Mm-hmm. And I began to talk to them in my mind, and that's when she started screaming.
Okay.
And she started screaming, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? At first she's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I said, well, you wanted me to take care of this, right? Well, we're like about, hard to count, about 35, 40 souls here that need to go on, and I'm going to cross them. And she's like, how are you doing this? I didn't know what she meant at the time.
Right.
I said, oh, I don't know. I do it. And then after I crossed them, she said, I have never seen anything like that. I said, like what? She said, I was talking to you on the phone, and you're standing beside me. All of a sudden, you're standing beside me. You scared the crap out of me.
Wow. That's intense. So like a tulpa, right?
And she said, and then all these spirits showed up. all these people showed up, and they just lined up behind you and started following you, and then they just all, one by one, vanished.
Oh,
I
very
said,
nice.
yeah, they went through the portal. Didn't you see the portal? She goes, no, but I saw the people, and I saw them vanish. I said, wow, that's interesting.
That is.
So she couldn't see them until she could see me.
Right.
Once she saw me, she could see them somehow,
Huh.
and then she could see them move on. So that's how it looked to me. And then when she said that, I'm looking at her place, and I'm looking at where I am, and I'm going, I don't know how the heck I did that, but wait a minute. There was that video I saw.
Right. It's in there
about
somewhere.
bilocating. I must be bilocating.
Right.
So
Well,
that's how that was my first time I realized what I was doing, although I had reports before that of me being places where I couldn't be because I was at home or I was somewhere else doing something else. But I was, in my mind, I was daydreaming. I think I was bilocating again, and people were just picking it up without realizing I wasn't really physically there.
Well, that's very cool. Thank you so much for calling in and being a part of the show. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, well, not, I had my first paranormal experience here today, and I took care of it fairly quickly. I guess there were a bunch of souls that needed to cross over in the area, and every now and then I do house cleaning, and so I did house cleaning today and crossed over a bunch of people that were
good.
Needing to cross. So it's something that I do on a regular basis to help people, because it seems like a lot of people get confused at the point of death. I don't know how it happens with so many. Anyway, thank you for having me.
All right, my lady.
And thank you for providing the space for doing this.
Yeah, it's always wonderful. And it's good to hear from you. So take care of yourself. And if I don't talk to you before then, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I hope things are wonderful.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Take care, Diane.
Have a good one.
See ya. All right. And we have another call. And this is area code 228. You're on the air. Hello? Are you there?
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi. How are you?
No. I'm from Mississippi, but y'all talking about astral projection. I'm kind of new to your show.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Well, welcome to the show.
Shout out to Bigfoot Odyssey for sending me all these great people.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
I would have never found none of y'all. But, I used to astral project. I'm 49 now. But I used to astral project when the ages between 14 and 16. And it wasn't about a tether. It was about a black cloud. If the black cloud caught you, then you would get put into like a coma.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, and I astral projected for about 2 years because my boyfriend was 2 years older than me, so I always checked on him at night. And, well, hey, I'm a teenager.
Sure.
But it would, at the end, I would run into this black cloud, and this black cloud would chase me. And I was talking to a guy, I can't remember his name. He was like one of about 3 people that can bring you out of this coma if this black cloud caught you. Now, I quit doing it because I was being chased by the black cloud. But when I was about 26, I was sitting at a red light, and I had an out-of-body experience.
Just spontaneously?
And that's about it on that. I mean, I got plenty of ghost stories, but anyway, Mom was a white witch, so.
Okay, gotcha.
But that's what I know about astral projection.
So it's a dark
I just
cloud.
thought I'd ring into you. And
yeah, that's really interesting. I appreciate you doing that. That's a new description to me. I hadn't heard that before, but I appreciate that.
I'm 49 now, so I mean, that's what it was when I was 14 and 16.
Well, sure, but I think in terms of spiritual stuff, it probably doesn't change very much. I think it pretty much stays the way that it is because it's kind of beyond time. But I think that's very
Yeah.
interesting. Very, very interesting. So you were consciously astrally projecting. I mean, you knew what you were doing. You knew how to send yourself out and do that. And then you
Yeah, my mom was a white witch,
oh,
so I knew a lot of things that a lot of people didn't know.
yeah. So she primed you for that. That's right.
Not she was a seer, and she could read a short fortune for 2 weeks with a regular deck of cards. She could do people would come to her when they died.
Mm,
I myself, I can read the cards and all, but I quit because I just had too many of them come true, and they weren't all good.
oh, sure, sure.
So I'd rather not know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's ignorance is bliss, right?
That's right. That's right. And if you don't know what you're fooling with, you never know who you invite.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. And it's it's too bad that there are negative experiences with such things because I think that there's beauty in all of this stuff. I really do. I know that people get, of course, freaked out and stuff, but I think that I always feel when things are coming, like bad things. I know when things are going to go sideways in my world, and it sucks because I don't know what it is. I don't know when it is, and I don't know how it's coming. But I just always know, and then I just brace for it, and sure enough, something will go sideways, and I'll be like, "Well, this is what I was feeling." But and
Yeah.
I've thought about that too. Is it better not to know? And but I think I do like the idea that I know something is coming, rather than to be just taken by surprise and to be blindsided by it.
Well, you can kind of, with the cards and all, and when I read palms and stuff, and all, I just feel people, or I'll get
Hmm.
around them, and I'll hold their hand, and I'll talk to them, and I'll feel them. You can tell them things, but you can't prevent it,
Right. Yeah.
and that's what hurts me the most. I can't help them.
Right. No, I hear you. Then again, I guess it's life has to be experienced. Unfortunately, we can't learn from
Yes,
people either.
unfortunately.
Yeah. But it's really wonderful to hear from you. And how long you been listening to the show now?
4 nights straight.
Very cool.
I've seen you on Bigfoot Odyssey, and I can't wait to hear you guys because I love ghost stories. And my mom was the best at telling them, and I
Oh,
haven't had a ghost story in years.
oh, I'm so glad you found us, and thank you so much for being here, and thank you again for calling in and adding to the body of discussion tonight. I think that's wonderful. It's always great to hear from new voices
Thanks.
and new insights. So please call in again if you
Yeah,
have something more.
I sure will because I have some ghost stories for you, and then
Ooh,
UFO stories too. I've seen 4 UFOs, so
wow. Well, if
yeah.
if you'd want to just be a guest on our podcast, just email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. I'd love to have you on, and we can record a show.
Well, I'm about to be homeless, so I'll probably lose
Oh,
this phone. So
I'm so sorry.
just eating it up while I can.
Okay. Well, please call in whenever you're able. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
Hmm. That's tough. It's a tough time of year. It's tough, tough, tough. That breaks my heart to hear that somebody might be homeless. Oof. I wish I was a man of huge means because I wouldn't let things like that happen. But sending you my love, and I hope it helps somehow. Wow, amazing bunch of call-ins, guys. Thank you so much for calling in and being a part of the show. How much of the show have we been through? We've been through all of it. That's cool. That's cool. We ended up doing a show on astral projection, and I love that, guys. I do these night terrors with the idea that it's just another night we get to talk or share the experience of the show, and that's fine. So when it goes a different direction, when the show writes itself, that to me is the greatest honor because that's just what needed to be discussed. That's the way it worked, and I don't mind that at all. In fact, I think it's brilliant. But again, if you're into the discussion about out of body experiences, definitely check out Monday's podcast. It was Dawn from North Carolina or North California rather. that had experienced some really incredible things. But again, it was more like near death experiences than it was out of body. But just some incredible stuff going on there. So if you haven't heard it, check it out. Tomorrow's podcast is going to be released after midnight. It'll become available. But I got Tyler joining me on tomorrow's podcast, and he talked to me about his experiences with Sasquatch in Oregon. So that'll be a great episode. So if you're not already checking out our podcasts, please do. Now, a lot of people kind of get confused about YouTube and podcasts and different types of shows. Now, our podcast is a completely different show than what you're watching right now. This is our YouTube channel. And yeah, sometimes if we have a great YouTube show, we'll port it over for the podcast, for our podcasting audience. Our podcasting audience is really pretty huge, and we've been doing wonderful there. So if we had a great show here, we'll make it into a podcast for the podcast network. But generally, those are all different shows. They're like 90+% different than what you're hearing now. They're audio only. You can go on Pandora, Spotify, iTunes, iHeart Radio, and find the Paranormal Portal podcast. And you can download them, and they're on your phone. You can listen to them whenever you get a chance. And it's just another way that you can catch the Paranormal Portal if you want to. But these podcasts are released 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so if you're not subscribed, you'll have to keep coming back. But if you subscribe to our podcast, it'll be automatically delivered to you through that app, whatever app you're using for podcasts, whether it's the iHeartRadio app, if it's an iTunes app, or if it's Spotify or whatever. So those are some options, but there's literally 10 shows a week of the Paranormal Portal, and 7 of them happen live right here on YouTube. So you can catch us here. And on Friday, Saturday, our shows are also simulcast on TFR Live, Truth Frequency Radio Network Live, and which is simulcast on iHeart, iTunes, or iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. So those are, but it's on those other applications. It's on the Truth Frequency Radio channel. So we are out there a whole bunch. I hope you guys will continue to support what we're doing. Please like the streams. If you're not already, please subscribe to the show. It would mean the world to us. We are growing, but we want to grow bigger, and become able to do more and more and more. So keep spreading the word. You guys have done amazing things in making this show grow, and I am completely indebted to all of you who enjoy the show and come in and support it, whether through just sitting and listening, or if you're calling in or emailing or whatever. So anyway, guys, I guess that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so Don will be joining me right here on the show. It'll be our 2-hour show. So I hope you guys will tune in and become a part of that as well. And that'll begin right here at 7 p.m. Pacific time, right here on YouTube. So I hope you guys will come back and check it out. But that's going to wrap it up for me for the night. It's been a long day. I need to kick my feet up and just relax. I've been busy ever since I woke up. But I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. All right, guys. Have a great night. And we'll be back tomorrow night to do it all over again. Sweet dreams, everybody.